have some magic spiritual gift that you guys don't all have. That's not the case. The truth is, you guys can all do what I do. I'm literally just a normal guy who does construction work. I'm not some guru spiritual guy who like meditates every night and has to do years and years of like kumbaya to make sure that I can get these messages from spirit.
Because there's something about passing out jewelry.
Yeah, I know exactly what that is. Yeah.
Does that mean that the closer I get to the event, that the fear's not there? Hell no.
Spot on. Like, he's the real deal.
Because I have to have enough ego to get up here in front of all of you. I have to have enough ego to want to do this kind of work.
But all those things came through and he was just like, boom, 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 you know.
But the minute I let my ego go too far and it gets too big and I start taking credit for this work, then spirit takes this away from me. All of a sudden the messages aren't accurate. All of a sudden I can't do this work. All of a sudden I'm not good enough. I have to keep my ego the right size. I have to keep it middle size. I call it medium-sized ego.
Good morning, everybody. This is Jared the Medium. We are in, where are we at? Santa Clara? Santa Clara, getting ready to do a fair. I believe some spirits trying to keep me awake, which happens sometimes. But of course, I needed lots of sleep and did not get a lot. So that's always a factor. But I was also worried about this event. So again, I'm excited about it now. But last night, all night, I kept trying to think about it and like what I'm going to do and how it's going to work out. And again, I watched this thing the other day that talked about when you overthink something, it means that you're trying to control the outcome and you have no control of the outcome. So that's the real truth. The truth is I have no control over that. And so I've just wasted half of my night worrying about it. But that's what we do sometimes. So anyway, a little nervous, but excited at the same time. I was happy to be invited to do it. And it's a good sign. So
what I've worked out by practicing are signs and symbols. Okay. So for instance, I know, can I come to you for a second? What is your name?
Roy.
Roy, when I tune into your energy, okay, I see for instance, I see this symbol, okay? I see this symbol over my head. It looks like someone going like this with their head, okay? And this feels like dad's side of the family and it feels above you. And this symbol for me is drugs and alcohol or mental illness, but I can't tell the difference because they're the same thing. So that would mean to me that I would say to you, hey, on dad's side of the family, is there some drugs and alcohol issue or mental illness?
Mental illness, maybe.
Okay. So again, that's how I would start. So see, all that was a little symbol. Is it 100%? No. And here's what you guys need to know. Like the fear, right? The fear is always there. Like I was afraid to even go to you because you're a man and you're like looking tough back or whatever reason. Like, am I wrong? It's gonna bomb if I'm wrong, right? Like, so do you understand? Like that fear is always still there, okay? But I know that. And no matter how many times I've read people and it's gone amazing, okay, I still am afraid, right? I'm still afraid. I'm still afraid that's going to bomb. What if it bombs in front of all these people? What if my talk doesn't go well? This is normal for most people. Like when I tune into people, this is pretty common. Like this is pretty common. We all kind of have this fear that rules our life. We just don't really talk about it, especially men. Do you understand that?
Right.
I do have an older female that I want to bring in for you too for a second. As I'm talking about this, she puts a quilt around you. So quilt around you means protection. Okay. And she stayed on top of you. When she stayed on top of you, that means lots of love. That means very close to you, very much. She just whispered in your ear, which is a symbol for me that she wants to let you know she's letting you know she loves you and she says, I miss you too. So that means you would say to her that you missed her. Is mom passed for you?
Yeah, recently.
Yeah. So that's mom. Do you understand? Again, so how that worked, and you see me start talking fast. Okay. So that is a mechanism I use to not let fear creep in. See, I started getting the message. All I know is I felt mom pop in. Okay. Here's another trick. Okay. These are tricks. These are tricks. If I try to get all that information for him first, because that's what we do in the beginning. We're like, okay, I'm going to get all this mess. It's a mom and I'm going to put it all in my head. And then I'm going to try to deliver it with a nice, pretty bow on it. Right. I'm going to try to deliver you this message. That's all perfect. But guess what? By the time I put it all in my head and thought of it all and made it all pretty, it's got my thoughts, my ideas, my ego, my fear of what I want to tell you and what I don't want to tell you. And by the time I give it to you, it's not accurate. And then what happens? I can't do this. I'm not accurate. This doesn't work. And this is what most of you have done. Okay. And this is why we can't read family and friends. Okay. This is what most of us do. We think we have abilities and we try. Where do we test them? On our friends and family. But I know too much about my wife. If I get a message for her, I'm going to get that message, and that message might be like, she needs to leave her job and go do this. And I'm going to be like, yeah, she needs to leave her job in a couple years when we can afford it. Do you see what happened there? Like, and I didn't mean to do that. Like, that's not what I meant to do. But I have no choice in that. Do you understand? And so one of the ways I get around it is as soon as I tune into her and as soon as I know, I just start rapid firing what's coming through. It doesn't give me enough time to mess it up. Do you understand? It doesn't let the paint bleed. I'm a painter by trade. Okay, this is what this is. When you use tape and you paint, it's a trick. As soon as you put it on, you pull the paint so that the tape, so the paint doesn't have time to bleed. That's a trick. Okay, so do you understand? That's a trick I use. And so that's a way that we rapid fire this. Okay, but it's also a good explanation of understanding why we don't do this for our own loved ones, right? Like it's hard, and that's what we want. We want to get a message from mom. And so again, I say we can all do this, and I always tell everybody you don't need me to communicate with your loved ones, but we do need confirmation sometimes, right? That's the thing. Like you need that confirmation. But I get my message from her that she has given you confirmation. This to me means you've seen her since she's been passed.
Time she's came through.
She has made her presence known to you, like, hey, I'm okay because I showed you. You understand that?
Yes.
And she's standing up too, so it's like you needed to see her, like almost like ballroom. Like she wants you to see this. Okay, see, and when you see me moving around, this is not me. She's doing. So there's something about you seeing her dance.
Yeah.
So again, I can assume a lot from that. I can assume that she was not mobile towards the end, or she was losing mobility or something, or I can assume that dancing was really important to her.
Actually both, but yeah, she came through in a dream and I saw her in a ballroom dancing.
Perfect. And see, again, I didn't mean to use the word ballroom, right? So another way this works is I have this deal with spirit. They give me a flash. Okay, that's it. Like a flash. I know to talk about this. I start talking about it. Once the words come out of my mouth, they slide these words in there. They just slide them in there. It wasn't my word. I didn't mean to say ballroom. I didn't even barely remember saying ballroom. Do you understand? I definitely wasn't going to dance around up here in front of all of you. You know what I'm saying? But they're using my body. And only because the fear of starting to talk is so huge. So huge. If I could just get any of you to stand up here and just get the connection and just start spitting out whatever came out of your mouth, you would all be blown away. In your gallery readings, when she came through and I was doing a little dancing for you, can you tell us about that dream when she came through at all?
It's kind of like, short bits and pieces, but as I was, the dream was, I could see myself in the ballroom and I was looking around and then all of a sudden I saw my mother there and she was youthful, right? So she was in her prime. And then her and my father walked out on the dance floor and started dancing. They they do all the tango, the waltz, all that dancing. So they were both very, very good dancers, and they loved to dance. So
Awesome. So not only was she telling you she was okay, but she was letting you know she was with your father and that they were dancing. Mm-hmm. And so, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and she was showing me that, yeah, she was healthy. Yeah. She had her youth back.
All in just that one little vision, right?
How was your reading? My reading was amazing. It was everything that I wanted it to be, and it was just everything that I needed to hear. It was a big confirmation of just things that I've been carrying, things that I need to let go of, and just a piece of my heart that I needed.
And what you think of Jared?
Jared's amazing. He's amazing. He's so just spot on. Like he's the real deal. Like he's just so spot on. Like I mean, his guides are just clearly just on it.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience when he first tried you at one of our events?
So he had said a few things that kind of caught my attention that really picked out my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell right away it was her. She had recently passed, and so it wasn't surprising some of the things he said.
Mm-hmm.
The whispering in the ear part
Yeah.
was pretty interesting.
Okay.
All right. Well, welcome here. Thank you for doing the follow up with me. This is cool. I'm glad you came. It just happened to be you showed up that day. I was literally thinking about you that morning, going, God, I wish I could get a follow up interview with you. What was your name again?
Right.
Roy. That's right. So
yeah, interesting, because I woke up in the morning. I wasn't not planning on going all the way out there, and I woke up said I need to go out there.
perfect. Sure, that's got to be mom. So what I'd like to get out of the way is what I remember, or what I think I remember, because that'll screw me up so bad. So let's get that out of the way. What I already know, what I remember. I remember mom for you.
Correct.
I remember mom coming through. I know I made a video out of it, so I know like that she came through and she said that she came through ballroom dancing. There was something about dancing and showing you that she was dancing, and she came to you and showed you that. Correct? Okay. And then I do know from talking to you that you worked construction
I'm a healer
before. Yeah, that you worked construction, and then I was just going to say, and that you're a healer.
Yes.
Because I got your card. So those are the things I like. I like to be very clear about what I know, and get those like right out front, so I don't confuse them for what I'm getting. Okay,
Okay,
you
sure.
understand? Because the more I know, the less accurate I can be, right? Because now I can only assume if I get something now from a female, I'm going to assume it's mom, right? I have no choice, but because I know there's a mom there and I know how strong she is. And so it would be my first option. Well, my first thing would be to assume it's mom. So that's how that kind of information gets in the way. So that's why when I
Right.
read people, I tell everybody, look, don't give me anything but yes or no in the beginning, because if you give me anything, it's going to make me assume that thing. Do you understand? I can't unhear it. And so these are some of the things that I've already got working against me, because I already know some things, which is
Right.
fine. But I just like to make sure I put them right out front. Okay, you understand?
I do.
Okay.
I do, yeah.
All right. Have you been doing healing where's the 5 years? What happened in 5 years?
Yeah, I've been doing it for a little over 5 years, but the last 5 years have been
Something about the 5 years.
later. It's been 5 years since I've been on vacation. I've been dealing with mom and the house and all that for the last
See, you're
5
giving me way
years.
too much information.
Sorry.
It's okay. See what happened there? I could have got that next. She could have led me to that to say this is what's going on. But again, I did ask. So I said, what's the 5 years? So again, just be real, try not to give me too much. Okay.
Okay,
Just yes or
perfect.
no. Because again, I could have got that. It could have meant more, right? It would have meant more if I could have got it from mom, and then you'd have been like, oh man, she knows what's going on, right? But because you gave me the information now, see, I'm skeptical, right? So I always treat everybody like they're a skeptic. And when I get a reading from somebody and I get this great information, I leave there going, that was great. But then my mind starts to do this thing where it's like, but I did say that. So, and it kind of
Right.
fades. So I try to take all those things away from you the best I can, right?
Okay.
So anyway, that's those two reasons why I do that. And also it just makes it less accurate for me. The more information you give me, the less accurate I can be. And the less evidence I can give you that it's her, right?
Correct.
Okay. So she brings up the 5 years. I also have a male come in too. So you have an older male has dad been passed for you?
My father passed 2
Long-
months after my mother.
Oh, how far?
2 months.
Oh, okay. So were you not as close to dad as you were mom?
I was real close to mom, but I was close with dad.
Okay, because I just feel a bigger distance between you and dad than I do you and mom.
Father, son.
Okay, so again, that's the way I feel it. Like, so I thought he was gone longer, but because I can't tell the difference between a distance, right? A distance to me, because I'm an empath, means like either you weren't as close, there's like a little bit of distance in between you, or like there's distance in time. I can't feel the difference, so I have to ask that. But I didn't feel as closeness as I do when mom comes through. Mom, I just feel like mom's like all over you, and dad just feels a little distanter. Do you understand that? And again, now when I say that, I feel him come through very upright and very, very proud and very like not as loving. Do you understand? Like he's like this when he comes through. So he's standing very proud, very proud. Is
Yes.
there military on his side of the family?
No, but, he was in the military.
Okay, so yeah, that's he was in the military.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's military. Okay. Because when I get that proud and that thing, then I just get I get a salute. So when I get a salute, it just means someone saying there was respect of military. That's what that means. So was he did he work with his hands too?
Cement contractor.
Got it. Yeah.
He was a creator. He was an artist with his work.
Okay. Yeah, that's the next thing I was going to go to, because it's like it was work with your hands, but also like just top of his level. So top of his game, top of his field. You understand that? Oh, chills all
Yes.
over. So now,
Oh yeah.
oh my God, he's so proud of that. Like chills all over, top of my field, top of my field. And he handed that to you. Like he always taught you to try to be the best at what you do. And so he just said, so you be the best at this. Do you understand? Because you're worried like that he doesn't respect what you're doing with the healing, or there's some kind of worry about like he wouldn't like agree with that or something, or he just wants you to know.
He doesn't understand it. He didn't understand.
Okay. But he does now, and he wants you to, he's like, this is what he said. I don't care as long as you're the best at it. You be the best at what you do. Like, that's what matters. Do you understand? And again, it's not even really what matters, but that's what he would have said to you. You understand? Like, that's his way of thinking, and that's his way, like, that's how he's coming through to show you that it's him, is to tell you, like, you just be the best at what you do. Did he get into like specialty stuff when in his work, or why is he bringing up like specialties?
He so his specialty was exposed aggregate.
Got it.
Um,
Because he would have had to have been like specialized in something, not just like I did concrete. It was like I did concrete and then I ended up specializing in something, to the point where I feel like if you say aggregate, you at the time they went to him, like thought of him. Do you understand? So it would have been a big deal in this. Did he also work like union?
he worked for the union before.
Perfect, because I got a whole chills again. So lots of pride in that like whole union thing, and again I got that as soon as I said like he was well known. I heard I felt like union. So he got well known in the union first, or like something about the union was something that he brought up. And again, so then I saw the salute again, so like the military, and then I saw the union, and it was almost like it was kind of like the same, like not like quite a salute, but it was like the respect thing that you give somebody in union. Like it was a respect feeling of being, raised in union, taught in union, something about that. So that's what he said. Oh, so did you work for him when you were younger?
Worked, yeah. Yeah. I worked with them.
Yeah. Is it a lot more than you expected, or is there a lot more? Is there a lot more stuff than you expected, or is there a lot more value than you expected, or?
There's a lot of confusion because there's some property here and then there's some in Italy, and Italy was supposed to go to me, and now I'm not sure how that's going down.
Got it. Okay. And it is supposed to go to you. That's what he said.
Yeah, he was supposed to do everything and take care of everything, but the last year and a half dealing with my mom, we were all very nervous and it was a tough time.
Do you have a sister?
I do.
Okay. So is there an issue around that?
Yeah.
Because I just got the issue around sister, so.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm seeing like my symbol for juggling, which is like there's a lot of stuff up in the air, or like trying to keep things juggling. And then mom just chimed in and said, I'm sorry. So mom feels responsible for that, or this whole like fusion.
Yeah.
She says, I'm sorry. Like it's her fault somehow. She feels responsible for that, messing this up or not getting it done or something about it, or she somehow feels responsible, which she said she's sorry.
I forgive her. She was not in her right mind.
Yeah.
And was being influenced.
But she says, she's like, again, she did even when you say that, she points at herself and she says, I take the responsibility. And I feel like the only reason she'd be doing that is because she wants to take the responsibility off of somebody else. Like she doesn't want you to blame somebody else. Like that's the way that feels. And I mean, I'm assuming because we asked about a sister first that that's what she's saying, but I don't know. But again, then she says, this is all going to work out fine. It's all going to work out fine. It's all going to work out fine. Like it's going to work out. So this is random and weird, but I saw like what I think is a safety deposit box. Was there a safety deposit box?
I've been looking and I haven't
Chills.
found one.
I got chills again. I got
But
strong
I
chills. Oh my
feel
God.
like there's something hiding in the house.
There is. Don't tell me anymore. Don't tell me anymore.
No, I won't. I just don't know where.
Because I just got strong. Like again, that was a very clear, like a box, a metal box, like a safety box, and I got chills really strong when you said it, which is that's a yes for me. I don't get any clearer than that for me. Like it was strong, so I'm sure that there is something missing. Like again, he keeps bringing it up, like there's more than you expected. You heard all that way I led into that, right?
Right.
All the things that I said before that, they all led up to me saying there's a safety deposit box with more in it. And I feel like it's like cash and bonds and like stuff, like good stuff. There is.
Is it at home or is it at a bank?
Well, what came out of my mouth was safety deposit box, right?
Right.
Which would assume that it's somewhere else.
I'll have to check. I've checked.
Do you understand? That's what I would assume. The way it came out of my mouth was safety deposit box.
Right.
When you said home, then I started to feel like, yeah, home, but like I could have been led by what you said. What I try to trust is what came out first before I knew anything. And what I said was safety deposit box, which makes me feel like it might be somewhere. You might be looking for a key instead of a.
Yeah.
This may not be here. But you're supposed to find this. Like you're supposed to find this. Do you only know this because, do you only think this because there's like a missing document or something, or there's some missing stuff that you're looking for and you're like, where would this be? Why do you think that?
2 months before they passed, they changed the trust. I can't find it nowhere.
Chills.
Nowhere.
See?
I didn't know. No one knew it existed until I got a phone call from the attorney. Without that, everything would have been clean. And that's why I'm wondering, is it there?
Maybe. So again, I didn't know any of that. And what came out of my mouth are the only reason you're looking for this spot is that because there's a, missing document. Like that's pretty crazy, right? How would I know that? Why would they give me that? So that's pretty clear. So again, I trust before you said anything to me what came out.
Right.
So then I just saw them ripping up a piece of paper. So I don't know. Like that's confusing.
I think he ripped it up. I think he didn't like it and ripped it up. And that's why it was not available to be found.
Got chills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
I saw him rip it up, and it was him, not her. Like I saw him rip the paper up right after I asked him, and he showed me very clearly ripping it up. So I think you're right. If you had that inclination already and you can't find it, and so it's almost like it doesn't matter because I ripped it up. So I don't know. I don't know what that means because I don't know anything about this legal shit. I don't know anything about what's going to happen next. I can't tell you any of that. I'm just giving you what they're showing me. And again, I'm telling you, like right now, I'm telling you, this is why you're here today. Like this is the reason they needed you to hear all this. Like this is important. I thought it was gonna be about something completely else. I don't know, right? But I didn't know your dad was involved. Like I didn't even know that. Like dad's the one. You're like, this is why you're here.
And I'm going in Italy in 3 days to figure out all that over there.
Good. Okay. So, yeah. So I don't know. He's telling me to move on from that. So who lived in Italy like half time and back? Like who was that him that traveled back and forth to Italy, or did they have like a vacation home there, or what's this like back and forth thing with Italy?
So we just finished building a home before he died. I was getting ready to take him there. He was going to live there. I was going to be going back and forth.
Okay,
That was my plan, and it still is my plan to go back and forth.
perfect. Yes, that is still the plan. That is still the plan. Yeah. He's all excited. Like he just clapped about this. He's like super excited about you going there and about this. It's like a dream. It's like living a dream out or something about a
It's
dream.
his
He says
dream, yeah.
it's his dream and you're doing it, right? Like it's part of like you honoring it.
Yeah.
And again, doesn't have to be forever. Like you're gonna like live out this dream and you're gonna do this in his honor, and it might not be your dream, and that's okay. He says that's okay. If it's not your dream, that's okay. Do you understand that? Because he again wants you to do you, but he says thank you for the honor, because you are very honor your parents very much.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great reading.
That was some great information.
Thank you. All right. Hold.
It was very, very good, very informative, revealing of a lot of information. And I could definitely feel my parents, my sister in here.
If there was one detail that resonated with you the most, what was it?
Well, there were so many that there was a lot of areas that resonated with me. Things, my father's handing me things down the whole trip to Italy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just so much that resonated.
Oh, that's great.
On a lot of levels. Mom, her personality, who she is. My father, coming through, sharing things that he, was never able to say.
Mm-hmm.
As being the man of that,
Yeah.
He was never able to show that side of him.
Mm-hmm. And he was today.
And he was, yeah.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of Medium Sized Ego. My hope in sharing with you my process and how I get messages from Spirit and how I share them with other people is so that you can all see that this is obtainable. This is not some magic special gift that only the select few have. That's just not the case. Anybody can do what I do, as long as you keep your ego right-sized and practice. So my hope with sharing this with you is that you heard, saw, or felt something today that opens your mind, opens your heart just a little bit to allow Spirit to work its way in and maybe just for a moment make you believe. But don't trust me. I would never ask you to believe me. Believe your guides. Believe your loved ones. Believe Spirit, because they are working with you every day. They are giving you messages every day. All those times when you get warned that something bad's about to happen, all those times you think of somebody just before they call, all those times that you get that thought, that's not you. That's not dumb luck. That is Spirit.